Sometimes life hits us with challenges so heavy that it feels impossible to see anything good. But what if the very moments of pain and struggle are the greatest teachers, guiding us to strength, wisdom, and deeper appreciation? True gratitude isn't about waiting for perfect circumstances. It's about finding light even in the darkest times, realizing that suffering itself can shape us into something stronger than we ever imagined. Gratitude is often mistaken for a feeling reserved only for moments of joy, abundance, and ease. But true gratitude transcends circumstances. It is a steadfast practice that can be cultivated even in the midst of suffering. In fact, the deepest form of gratitude emerges precisely when life is at its most challenging. When we face pain, loss, or hardship, our natural instinct might be to resist or resent these experiences. Yet, if we shift our mindset and choose to be grateful in suffering, we unlock a powerful source of inner strength and wisdom. Suffering has a way of stripping away superficial distractions and forcing us to confront the core of our existence. It humbles us, teaches patience, and sharpens our ability to endure. This kind of gratitude is not about pretending everything is fine or denying the reality of pain, but about acknowledging that even in the darkest moments, there are lessons to be learned and growth to be found. It invites us to see adversity as a vital part of our journey, rather than an obstacle that defines us. By embracing gratitude amidst struggle, we transform our suffering from a burden into a teacher, one that reveals resilience, deepens our character, and reconnects us with the essential truths of life. This perspective empowers us to move forward with courage and grace, knowing that every trial carries within it the seeds of transformation and a deeper appreciation for the gift of being alive. Understanding gratitude in the midst of suffering demands a radical transformation of how we relate to pain and adversity. It's easy to say, be grateful, but living it while trapped in hardship is one of the most difficult challenges we face as human beings. The truth is, suffering often feels isolating and overwhelming. It shakes the foundations of our identity and threatens to consume our sense of hope. But it is precisely in these moments, when everything seems to be falling apart, that practicing gratitude can be a lifeline. This kind of gratitude does not come from ignoring or minimizing our struggles. Rather, it arises from a deeper awareness that suffering is an intrinsic part of the human experience. Every great teacher of philosophy, every wise soul throughout history, has acknowledged that pain is unavoidable, but how we respond to it is what shapes our destiny. Gratitude in suffering asks us to see beyond our immediate discomfort to the unseen ways in which these difficulties are molding us. It helps us recognize that pain is not the end of the story, but a necessary chapter in the narrative of growth and self-discovery. Through suffering, we are forced to confront our limitations and vulnerabilities, which paradoxically can become our greatest sources of strength. When we embrace this perspective, we begin to understand that the struggle itself contains gifts, lessons in patience, humility, and compassion. It reveals the resilience hidden within us and connects us more deeply with others, as suffering is a universal bond. Life's unpredictability becomes less frightening when we accept that hardship is part of the natural order, a force that shapes us in ways we cannot always see in the moment. Over time, this practice becomes a wellspring of strength that sustains us through all seasons of life, teaching us that gratitude is not just an emotion, but a powerful way of being that anchors us in the present and connects us to something greater than ourselves. One of the most profound aspects of being grateful, even in suffering, is how it reshapes our understanding of control and acceptance. Often, we suffer because we resist what life presents to us, fighting against circumstances that are beyond our power to change. This resistance creates an inner conflict that magnifies pain and frustration, trapping us in a cycle of negativity. But when we cultivate gratitude during suffering, we begin to see that while we cannot control every event or outcome, we can control our attitude and response to those events. This realization is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the idea that our power lies not in external things, but in our own minds. Gratitude becomes the practice of focusing on what remains within our control, even when everything else feels uncertain or overwhelming. It allows us to find peace amidst chaos by anchoring ourselves in appreciation for what we do have, our breath, our senses, our ability to learn and grow, and the simple fact of being alive. Moreover, gratitude in suffering fosters a sense of humility that softens our ego and reminds us that we are part of a larger whole. It connects us to the rhythms of nature and the shared human experience of pain and healing. This connection helps to dissolve feelings of isolation and despair, replacing them with a quiet strength and a steady hope. By embracing gratitude, we no longer see suffering as a curse or an enemy, but as a necessary force that shapes our character and deepens our wisdom. It is this mindset that enables us to endure hardship with dignity and grace, transforming adversity into a source of personal transformation and spiritual growth. Ultimately, gratitude in suffering teaches us that even when life is difficult, we have the power to choose how to face it. And in that choice lies our greatest freedom. Gratitude in suffering also opens the door to compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. When we face difficult times with a grateful heart, we begin to understand that pain is not a sign of failure or weakness, but a shared human experience that unites us all. This realization softens our judgment toward ourselves when we struggle, allowing us to treat our own wounds with kindness and patience rather than harshness and blame. It encourages self-forgiveness and helps us heal from the emotional scars that suffering can leave behind. At the same time, this compassion extends outward, enabling us to empathize deeply with the struggles of those around us. Recognizing our own pain makes us more sensitive to the challenges others endure, fostering connection and solidarity instead of isolation. This interconnectedness becomes a powerful source of support and encouragement, reminding us that we are not alone on our journey. Moreover, gratitude in suffering teaches us the value of presence, the ability to remain fully engaged in the here and now, even when it's uncomfortable. Instead of fleeing from pain or distracting ourselves, we learn to sit with it, to observe it without resistance or judgment. This mindful acceptance allows us to process our emotions more deeply and to find clarity amid confusion. Over time, this practice of gratitude and compassion in the face of suffering cultivates a profound inner peace, a calm center that no external hardship can shake. It helps us build a life rooted not in avoidance of pain, but in courageous engagement with all aspects of existence. By choosing gratitude even in our darkest moments, we transform suffering from a source of despair into a wellspring of love, resilience, and profound wisdom. Ultimately, the practice of being grateful even in suffering is not just a way to cope, it is a way to thrive. It redefines our entire relationship with life's challenges and invites us to live with greater purpose and meaning. When we cultivate gratitude in the face of adversity, we develop a resilience that goes beyond mere endurance. This resilience is active and transformative. It allows us to emerge from hardship not broken, but refined, like metal tempered by fire. Each painful experience becomes a stepping stone on the path to greater wisdom, patience, and strength. It teaches us that suffering is not something to avoid at all costs, but something to engage with honestly and bravely. This mindset frees us from being controlled by external events and shifts our focus inward to the power we hold in how we interpret and respond to life. It is through this power that we find true freedom, freedom from fear, bitterness, and despair. Gratitude in suffering reveals to us the richness of life in all its complexity, reminding us that joy and pain are intertwined, and that one deepens our appreciation for the other. As we practice this gratitude daily, it becomes a guiding light that helps us navigate life's uncertainties with grace, courage, and an open heart. In embracing gratitude during suffering, we not only survive, we grow, evolve, and ultimately transform into the best versions of ourselves. This is the profound gift that suffering offers when met with a grateful spirit.